powered by the Montana Television Network. This is the 10 o'clock news on KPAX, Montana's news leader.
Good evening, I'm Dennis Bragg.
And I'm Jill Valley. Governor Steve Bullock declares a state of emergency for northern Montana reservations and counties buried under blizzard conditions.
MTN's Jonathan Berrien looks at what the designation means for areas struggling to keep roads open and provide assistance to those in need.
Governor Bullock's state of emergency allows him to mobilize additional state resources, including the Montana National Guard, to protect life, health, and property. It will also allow local jurisdictions to be reimbursed for the costs they're already facing. Bullock also loosened restrictions on commercial drivers carrying diesel fuel, propane, and heating oil, so the needed fuel can reach northwestern Montana. In a statement Tuesday, Bullock said the safety and security of Montanans must be our top priority. Leaders say parts of Glacier County and the Blackfeet tribal areas have seen more than 2 weeks of severe winter weather.
It is unusual. It's winter in Montana is one thing, and then there's a whole other thing to have 16 straight days of blowing snow and trouble.
The state activated its Emergency Coordination Center earlier this month to start preparing for the storm. They say they're working closely with the Blackfeet Tribe's incident commander. The Montana Department of Transportation has sent additional equipment and mechanics to work on highways covered by snowdrifts. Photos and video from the department show the dramatic drifts that close State Highway 464 north of Browning. Leaders say high winds continued to pose challenges for MDT crews Tuesday. State leaders say they'll continue to assist local governments in any way they can.
I just can't say enough about how good of a job they're doing up there. They've got a strong incident command system, strong leadership, very well organized, very good response effort that's been going into this last couple weeks, and something to really be proud of.
Jonathan Amberian, MTN News, Helena.
Meanwhile, there's some frustration on the Blackfeet Reservation as residents continue to struggle with snow and those strong winds again today.
MTN's Margaret DeMarco spoke with the incident commander to find out what's going on with the relief effort.
We've had a severe winter, one that we're going to be talking about for quite some time.
On January 4th, the Blackfeet Nation declared a state of emergency due to severe winter weather. Relentless snow and wind have been pounding the Front Range for more than 2 weeks.
We've been managing off of the original emergency declaration.
Incident Commander Robert DeRoger says they are working with both state and federal officials to bring in much needed help.
I think we've got 7 extra snow blowers in the community, and we have extra road graders. We have 2 extra front end loaders, and I think 3 to 4 extra snow plows.
Crews and equipment have come in from Great Falls, Havre, Kalispell, and many other locations. Though DeRoger says every time they get ahead with plowing, it is undone due to the relentless winds.
We still have roads closed from Canada to Shoto or the Fairfield area, so they've got to plow their way in.
They are also facing issues like Heart Butte residents being without water for almost 24 hours. DeRoger says they have 2 to 4 search and rescue teams traveling across the reservation.
Providing food baskets and firewood, and we're filling the medication prescriptions as we can, and we're delivering those with track machines.
DeRoger says they are trying to stay ahead of the situation as much as possible.
Try to stay off the roads. Don't drive around road closed signs, and if you're in an area where you can check on your neighbor, make sure you check on your neighbor.
Margaret DeMarco, MTN News, Great Falls.
Communities across Montana are coming together to help shovel out those houses up there and fix the roads. They also are bringing food and other supplies to the people in Browning, East Glacier, and in Heart Butte. Right now, there's a tremendous need for food and provisions, especially diapers. A group of Flathead Rotarians delivered a pallet of baby formula last Thursday. They also arrived with a trailer, a log splitter, and other supplies. Kalispell's Rotary Club president says they plan to have a food drive Thursday and hope people drop off donations at the United Methodist Church in Columbia Falls.
Contacting the United Methodist Church in Columbia Falls is a great way to be involved because they have coordinated efforts with the United Methodist Church in Browning. They seem to have a good pulse on what's going on, and they will make sure that whatever, if you can offer assistance. My understanding, they're talking about doing several log loads in the future, so it may be they need help with that, delivering of grocery and food items.
And they will be sending another load of supplies on Friday as they're collecting food, diapers, baby formula, and donations. They say wood splitters, chainsaws, and snow shovels are also helpful. As for our area, we'll see some active conditions with some snow on and off throughout the week. For the latest on what's happening here, let's go over now to Chief Meteorologist Aaron Yost.
Yeah, things are going to stay pretty active for us here for the extended forecast. A little light snow possible here for some folks overnight tonight into tomorrow morning. Light accumulation also a possibility too. This was Hamilton earlier today for Security Bank iCam. A lot of us have seen a pretty uneventful day. Some blue sky out there mixed in with the clouds. But now we're starting in our west to northwesterly flow to see those snow showers pick up in intensity just a bit. This isn't going to be a big system, but enough to maybe put down an inch for some folks heading into at least the first half of Wednesday. We will see more chances for some accumulation, probably not Thursday or Friday though. Temperatures on their way up for a brief period. More details coming up.
A 48-year-old Big Fork woman died in a head-on crash last night in Evergreen. She's identified as Jennifer Franklin of Big Fork. MHP says the crash happened on Highway 35 around 6 o'clock last night near mile marker 49. Franklin was driving eastbound in a Chevy pickup when icy roads caused her to lose control of the truck and cross the center line into the path of a Jeep Liberty. The vehicles collided head-on, killing Franklin instantly. The other driver is a 60-year-old Kalispell woman who was not critically injured. The MHP trooper who responded says Franklin was not wearing her seatbelt. The body of a missing Polson man found this afternoon. 26-year-old Kyle Butterhoff reported missing by his family on Friday. Sheriff Don Bell said in a news release Butterhoff was found on the cliffside below the SKQ Dam Observation Lookout. The Lake County Sheriff's Department has been searching that area since Sunday after Butterhoff's car was found in that parking lot at the dam. Sheriff Bell says no foul play is suspected in this death. His body will be taken to the state medical examiner's office for an autopsy.
Ravalli County investigators now say a threatening social media post directed at Darby schools came from a California teen. Ravalli County Sheriff's officials work with Los Angeles police to track down the 14-year-old who they don't consider to be a local threat. The suspect is connected to 18-year-old McLean William Kaiser, a Darby senior who was arrested and charged for making both verbal and social media threats toward fellow students. The pair were acquainted through online gaming. Sheriff's office is working with prosecutors and the FBI to see if charges might be filed, although they say that could be difficult to do since the case crosses state line. Now, for safety, there are increased patrols at Darby School planned throughout the rest of this year. At the Missoula County Public Schools meeting tonight, teachers stepping up to voice some safety concerns in light of recent threats against local schools.
MTN's Augusta McDonald was there and joined us now in the studio with their ideas on how to keep students safe. Augusta.
Thanks, Jill. Dennis, several teachers were at the meeting tonight speaking. They say that the number of days they're required to spend out of the classroom for district trainings during the year presents a safety concern. They talked about having to leave their students in the hands of substitutes who may or may not be trained for the school's emergency procedures. Safety concerns in Missoula County peaked last week as multiple school threats raised questions about schools' preparedness to respond in a worst-case scenario. At the meeting tonight, these teachers wanted the school board to reconsider how they schedule the trainings that are often embedded, meaning they're held during regular class times.
We have a number of days that are just for professional development where we don't have students, that would be a better use of that time. So number one, you keep the teacher in the building, and number two, you could have really high quality development.
Fisher said he's spent almost 26 years teaching at Sentinel. He told me the way the school district now schedules professional development by taking teachers out of class has only been in place for a few years. Back to you.
All right, Augusta, thank you. In other education news, incoming freshmen to Missoula County Public High Schools have enjoyed the option of choosing which high school to attend, even if it's not the one closest to home. But getting out of area approval is becoming more challenging for MCPS because of class size and school construction.
Some like the 4-H factor, or the fine arts, or the school with the successful team.
I think there are perceptions in the community about relative strengths of program in some high schools, whether it be the fine and performing arts or science education, for example.
For some 15 years, Missoula students had the opportunity to select the high school they felt better matched their ambition or interests. And for years, that's been pretty doable. But it's getting a little tougher for MCPS to accommodate all those requests because there are fewer classrooms available and a lot of incoming students.
We're taking some classrooms out of circulation in the various schools as they're being renovated. And so that's created a capacity issue in some of our high schools that is somewhat temporary in nature. But then we're also challenged a bit by our budget and the ability to add staff in any of our high schools presently. And What that means is then as classes approach accreditation standards, there's not capacity again to put schedules together to meet the needs of all students.
Some 8th graders hoping for an out-of-area school next year already got the thumbs up in January, while others are in a holding pattern for now, with 2 more chances of getting in.
There are students that made requests and based on the time and date stamp may not have been honored, but those will be reviewed an additional 2 times, and as capacity warrants, will allow some additional in-district movement.
It is the 3rd consecutive year the high schools are seeing a bump in enrollment.
Students who are still waiting to see if they got their choice high school could find out on June 1st and again on August 27th.
So a couple of different opportunities to find out.
Right.
Still.
So even if you didn't make the first wave, they still assess and evaluate as they get their schedules more finalized.
There's a lot to keep track of there. Up next, Aaron is back. We're keeping track of more active weather in the forecast for the rest of the week.
And baby otters are clinging to life after an unexpected birth at Zoo Montana. We'll show you the pups coming up after the break.